Hi, what's up? I'm back again with another video. Unfortunately, this time it's about my favorite mamiya rb67 accessories. For the record, this video is going to be a little more informal than usual. It's going to be a little more laid back, not so scripted. It's kind of just going to be me sitting down, explaining things as they present themselves in front of me. I'm also going to be opening these two boxes because I got more things that are on this list. So yeah, I mean, if you're bored and you don't completely hate me, I hope the video isn't too long or too short. I hope you enjoy. So there's one thing on this list that shouldn't be on the list, but the list wouldn't exist without it. So I really couldn't leave out the camera primarily. It's a mamiya rb67, or if you want to be fancy, it's a mamiya rb67 Pro S or Professional S. I believe this is like the second tier out of 3 for the mamiya rb67. There's an rb67 SD. The differences are debatable. They're not too grand or like too fancy, too flashy. This is just what I thought fit my needs and my budget, because these cameras are getting pretty expensive. For those of you who don't know or have never watched my videos, this camera is very modular, meaning you can break it down to just about every individual part. In a nutshell, what I'm trying to say is that you can change just about every single thing on this camera. This is the camera in its barest form. You know, you have the mirror in there. You can see my hand. But yeah, besides the camera, the first thing I really do want to mention on, and it's not really so much of an accessory, but more of a modification to the camera. I think and I believe that a good set of light seals really makes or breaks a camera. For the record, everything on this list has no placement, like nothing is better than another thing. I just thought the order that I laid these things down makes sense and would flow somewhat okay. But yeah, light seals. When I first got this camera, I had an awful lot of light leaks with a whole bunch of my shots. I made an entire video on me replacing these light seals and ultimately fixing my camera and making it, you know, worth my time. Light seals aren't exclusive to my rb67, but it's just a general guide. It's a general thing with any film camera. With this being said, I really do think that a good set of light seals, again, makes or breaks a camera. If I didn't ever replace my light seals, this camera wouldn't be what I mainly use. Just in case anyone's interested, I'll be leaving the video or the link to that video of me changing the light seals if you want. The next thing on this list, and arguably my favorite investment towards this camera, is a good, or at least decent, UV filter. So what a UV filter does, it's just an extra glass that goes in front of the lens that protects the actual lens. You've probably seen a couple of videos of mine where there's like an extra glare to the camera. That's just because I have this Tiffin UV filter screwed on. Again, this is a Tiffin UV filter. That's just my preferred brand of choice for my UV filter. It was also like $10 or maybe $13. I got it off Amazon. And so far, I mean, it's kept everything off of my lens. If something gets dirty, it's the UV filter, and I really don't mind wiping the UV filter with a cloth or something. Just know that you should avoid cleaning or at least touching the physical elements of the lens as much as you can if you care about your things. The reason I'm saying that this piece of glass is my favorite investment, it's because it actually protects my camera. Like, it protects it down to the physical element of the lens. And I don't know about you, but I don't have $300 to buy another lens. So I'd rather spend $15 max to, I don't know, cover it, protect it. The next thing on this list is what sits in front of the UV filter. That's a lens cap. I just like the way it looks and it does its job. It sits in front of the lens. It was like $7 at most. Again, I got this off of Amazon. And yeah, I mean, it works. It protects the UV filter, and if I didn't have the UV filter, it'd be protecting the lens. But I care about my things and I want to take care of them as much as I can, so I also got a UV filter. Wait, no, a lens cap. The next thing on this list is a lens hood. In this case, because I have an RB, it's a #1 mamiya lens hood. It's like, yeah, you've probably seen all the cool people, not myself, that have mamiyas. They have these weird cups in front of their lens. Well, that's what this is. Well, it's a lens hood and it does what a lens hood does, you know, lens hood things, such as reducing the amount of light that hits the lens to reduce refractions or glares. I think that's what they're called. I'm pretty bad with vocabulary, honestly. But yeah, you probably can't find these anymore anywhere. I've really tried finding a replacement for mine. Not that there's anything wrong with this one. But yeah, finding this one, like the only one I have, was an insane challenge in itself. I couldn't find them on eBay. I ended up buying this one off of KEH Camera, I think that's what the website's called. And they only had one. Once I bought it, it was out of stock forever, and it hasn't been in stock for the past 4 or 5 months, I think. For the record, there's two types of Mamiya lens hoods. This is a number 1, and there's also a number 2, I think. The number 1 is for 90mm lenses and below, I believe. And number 2 are for 135mm or 110mm, something like that, and above. Another reason I really do like this lens hood, besides its, lens hood properties, it's made out of plastic, and it's like a little balloon. It's like a little tire. So say, world forbid that I ever drop this thing, which I have not, and I will never drop this camera. I'm saying this right now, I will never drop my camera. But in the certain occasion that I might drop my camera, I'd rather protect my lens because, well, you have plastic, so if it falls, it's gonna fall on a piece of plastic and it's going to reduce the amount of impact that's going to the lens. I'm not sure if Mamiya as a company thought of this, all those years ago, but it's just a nifty feature that I find useful. But yeah, to recap, it's a number 1 M77 Mamiya lens hood for my 90mm Secor C lens. Yeah. So I guess moving on to the more expensive things I've gotten for this camera. The next thing on this list is my prism finder for my mamiya rb67. Just to throw this out here, I've also made a whole video dedicated to this prism finder back when I recently got it. So just in case you're interested, I will be leaving the link to that video too down in the description. But yeah, needless to say, this prism finder, or this accessory, makes this camera like 2.5 pounds heavier. Someone in the comments mentioned that an rb67 weighs just as much as a whole gallon of milk, and I thought it was really funny because I went to my fridge and got a gallon of milk and held it up as if I'm holding this camera, and it's pretty accurate. Back to the video, it's just a different finder besides the waist level finder. This prism makes the camera a little more traditional in terms of being able to see through the lens. If you see through it, it's not inverted, meaning if I move this way, the screen moves this way. If I move that way, the screen moves that way. Conversely, compared to a waist level viewfinder, if I go this way, the screen moves that way, and if I go this way, the screen moves that way. If you don't know what I'm saying, just go watch the video that I mentioned on the prism finder, and I do show a couple of examples of me showing you what it looks like on the screen. But yeah, my prism finder, it's great. It changes the feeling of the camera. It makes it feel like a brand new camera. And yeah, if you could ever find yourself investing in one of these, I really would recommend it. But make sure you get a good deal on one because they're also getting really expensive. Okay, so full disclosure, this next item on this list has only been used maybe twice on my rb67, but in the coming weeks, in the coming months, I am going to be using it a lot more on my RB. This is a shutter release cable. But yeah, just in case if you're curious, there's like a thread on this thing. You screw this into the shutter button of the camera. Doesn't have to be this camera, you can also screw it into just about any camera, even like a couple of digital cameras, I think. But yeah, you set this up on a tripod and you fire the shutter. This really just helps if you're trying to do long exposures or if you're trying to be really fancy in terms of portrait photography or interior photography. You're also kind of strapped for light in that case. But yeah, again, I also got this off of Amazon. It was like $7, maybe $12 max. They're very cheap. They come in different lengths, different colors, if that's what tickles your, but yeah, great accessory. I think it's pretty crucial if, again, you want to get into long exposures or night photography. Staying focused on the shutter button, it's right here in this camera. I am a humongous fan of shutter release buttons, these tiny little Beyblade looking things. So again, your shutter button and just about any single shutter button in the world has a thread on it. Again, mainly for the purpose of being able to put a shutter release cable on it. But in this case, these shutter release buttons also have a thread that you screw in to the shutter release button. And yeah, that's all it does. People use them for the aesthetics. People use them for their feel, if that's what you want to call it. So it does cover up like the shiny little button of, you know, the shutter. It's also like concave, meaning it's like, right, that's what concave is. It's like sunk in the middle, and it just makes it a little more comfortable to press the shutter. So but yeah, besides that, I always have this thing on the camera. I never really have it off, again, unless I'm using the shutter release cable, because, you know, you need to get it out of the way. It's not so much for aesthetics, it just really does feel better to use the shutter release button on this camera specifically, because the shutter release button is in a really awkward place, in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure everyone can agree. I feel like this video's gotten extremely long, but I'm finally gonna move on to these boxes. Haha, big wow. I mean, I know what I got, but I'm gonna open it in case anyone wants to see. Okay, so there's a couple of things in this box that aren't related to this video, but I guess they are related to film. I mean, I guess I can show you, there's nothing like wrong with this. It's a cartridge and a ventilator. Now you might be wondering, why do I have a ventilator and a 3M cartridge? Well, really the main purpose of this purchase is because I develop my own film. I do it in my restroom. There isn't great ventilation in there. I could throw a fan in there, but it's like such a pain in the ass. So for the sake of my health and, you know, my quality of life down the road, I'd rather, you know, cover my bases and make sure that I'm not inhaling any toxic fumes that may come off of, you know, the chemicals that you use to develop film. Yeah, it's a tripod. It's an 80-inch tripod. Of course, I'm gonna have to, you know, shoot a second clip of this tripod because I haven't opened it. This is the first time I'm looking at it. But yeah, it apparently holds up to like 20 pounds maybe. This camera is definitely not that heavy, but I thought I'd open it since I'm here. For the record, it was like $80 maybe. Yeah, it was $80. It was definitely under $80. I got the all black one. I think it's pretty cool how the actual ball head is like protected in this little suede bag. I don't know why, like I appreciate this, I really do. But yeah, oh my goodness, this thing is huge. I didn't expect it to be this big. Haha, that's what she said. And yeah, it's a big 80-inch tripod. I am most definitely not 80 inches, and I'm not telling you how tall I am because I'm a little scared of my height. I don't think I'll ever make a review on this tripod because there was one review I watched and he said, I don't know how much to say, it works and it holds my camera. So I hope that's the case. I really hope this holds my camera. It has a ball head. It has one of those cool bubble level thingies. It has a quick release plate that if I could figure out how to release. Yeah, fortunately or unfortunately, that's all I have for this video. These are really all the accessories I had. I understand this video was probably a humongous mess, but again, I did mention in my last video that I'm trying to branch out and I'm trying to not just do me shooting exclusively. I'd rather be able to sit down and talk to maybe some of you that are interested. Maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to do something a little different. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, well, boo-hoo. I mean, it doesn't matter. Given that I now have a tripod, next week I'm gonna try to upload a video of me shooting Sinister 800T. That's if that goes well. If not, I'll see you all, you know, 2 weeks from now, as per the new usual for 2021. Again, I apologize in advance if anyone made it this far into the video. I'm sorry this video is so long or so short. I really don't know if this video is long enough or short enough. For the record, I feel like maybe I should be saying this because I don't want anyone to think I'm like a cop-out or something. All the links in the description are affiliate links, meaning if you do buy something off of that link, I do get a small commission. I think that's how it works. So if you use that link to buy yourself the adapters, the tripod, film, the light meter, that goes straight to me, and that just helps me make these videos. It helps me buy film. I don't mean that it sounds sappy, but I just want to let you know those links are affiliate links, and if you buy something with that link, I do get a small commission. Inversely or conversely, that helps out the channel. And yeah, I'd say bye.